get to the center of a Tootsie Pop.
In that case, would anybody like to recap our last session?
I'm just breezing right past Justin's question.
Oh, I didn't see Justin's question.
He asked, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
Roll me an Arcana check to see if you know such magical knowledge.
Arcana. Oh my gosh!
So the answer depends on if you're talking to an owl when you ask it. If you talk to an owl when you ask the question, it is 3. If you do not talk to an owl when you ask the question, it is 156 on average.
Just love the fact I probably wasted my one and only 20, natural 20.
Excuse me, that was the most important nat 20 that we've had all campaign. So, who would like to recap last session?
We went to pick up Justin, but got shanked along the way. Okay. Actual recap. We went to the night market because someone got a telepathic email, and then we found some bug dude who was shooting bugs from his hands and is a little buggy. And then I went and followed some lady because I saw money, and then I got shanked. And that's about it.
Alright, yeah, so as you come off of the assassin running away and escaping through the shadows after a failed attempt on your life, Fox, you all collect yourselves, catch your breath for a second, and Clara just speaks up and goes, I gotta go home. I need to talk to my parents. I'll meet up with you all tomorrow. Just, I need to go. And you see as she just kind of like scurries off somewhat in a hurry and somewhat dejected towards the Phillips household.
So we just all follow her and watch.
I mean, you could. It would not be a very useful day for the rest of you unless you want to learn about working on Mizium armor. But if you want to learn about that, this is like absolutely the day to go to Clara's house.
So, before we leave the market, can I approach some merchant?
Yeah, and as you like step out of the like area that you're in, that like dark room where you were attacked in, you see looking out like there's goblin and drow merchants just like standing around, and they all kind of like look at you and they just go like they're just shrugging, like they were business as usual. The only times that they ever really reacted was if when like Clara was flinging firebolts near one of their stands. That was the only reaction that there was. They seem pretty unfazed, as if like random fights happen around here not too uncommonly, and they're just looking around, and you're able to approach. You see quite a few different vendors, and Ulyss is just looking at all of you and just, you all get into a lot of trouble, don't you?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And Ulyss, you did say that these people were supposed to be my benefactors. Was I not supposed to help?
Yeah, wait a second. Who even are you? Why do you have those foul things coming from your limbs?
Okay, first of all, racist.
Yeah. What's wrong with having hands?
What's wrong with having hands?
Aldrich looks toward one of the insects and kind of like, as one of them perch on his fingers, like, I have no idea myself. I woke up this morning and it seems like in me for some reason or another. They've just been swarming, and I feel some kind of connection to them now. I wasn't always like this. It must have been the experiments that they executed on me.
You woke up like this.
As he gently nods, yeah.
Oh god, he's Beyonce.
I mean, Fox, you saw what they were doing down there. Well, I didn't exactly imagine this. It doesn't seem out of their realm of the possible.
I don't like it. Just keep those things away from any undead I end up getting. I hate those things. They always ruin all our work.
I'll try my best. I don't know how well I could command them, but we'll see. To be honest, I haven't been really conscious until this morning where the big mushroom man freed me.
Ah, yes, our mutual friend.
Yes. He sent me to Ulis, and who sent me to you all.
What is
I'm
your
not
name again?
As he puts out his hand to shake yours and like, Eldrick, nice to meet you.
I'm just gonna like grasp it with like the tips of my fingers.
One beetle just goes over to your finger.
I'm just gonna neatly retract, pluck, and throw it off, and just like take a few steps back. Like that's enough.
It's nice to meet all of you. All things considering, I personally have nowhere else to go. I don't even know how long I've been down there. So, you all can lead the way. I'll follow along.
You have no place to go, then join the club. Suppose we should figure out that issue.
Well, I always have my illustrious quarters to return to. I don't know about the rest of you, though.
Do you? Do you, Fox? You were just attacked by one of your own guild.
That was not one of my guilds, and I can assure you that. Tell me, have you ever heard of disguises?
Yes, I have. I've also heard of your guild using them.
Hey, you lot are in guild? As Eldrick looks at her, you like, you lot are gilded? I thought that the mushroom man said that he would be able to help me and be my benefactors as he slowly backs away.
You are guildless, I see. Trust me, will not be a problem. We are all from different guilds. And yet, we all get along somehow, despite that. I don't see how not having one would detract from any relations.
Indeed. If I can handle hanging out with all these poor people, I can certainly handle hanging out with whatever that is.
Again, you can't. You're the one that's put us in the most danger.
I have also done the most for this party, I will have you know. Who here has put their very soul on the line for the sake of the mission?
Me!
The trouble that we have gotten into has been because of you.
Excuse you, we have gotten out of everything because of me. Tell me, how would we have gotten the power that we needed if I was not willing to sign that contract?
Okay, maybe there was one instance where you did something for the good of the party.
Tell me,
No,
tell me
he
what
didn't. He got power for
phone
himself and got too
collection
greedy and then
was.
sent an assassin after himself. Anyways,
Only esteemed members of society have regular assassination attempts. It is, in fact, a mark of prestige and privilege to be attempted to be assassinated. You should all be honored to witness such an event.
I'm sure. Do I know, is there any Azorius safe house around here that's not in Precinct 2?
So there's like minor guild halls for almost every guild in each of the precincts. The major guild halls, there's only one of each, but like there are like Azorius. It's more offices, so they might not have a full barracks, but you could probably at least crash there for the night.
Now, Aldrich, was it, I know of a safe house that will take us in, that will take you in, at least for the night. I need rest immediately.
I think you could wait a little bit longer.
No. As I just start walking away.
And as you're walking away, you just hear as Ulyss kind of calls out to you. Is there anything that you need me to relay back to the mushroom? I can give him a message if you need, but it seems like I'll be back in a few weeks if you need more conversation anyway.
Who is this?
This is the guy that brought Justin.
Oh.
It is the bartender from the Mushroom Village, where you guys had your mushroom ale, and he told you how to find Elix, as well as where to get Myconid Sovereign Blood for Rocky.
Mm-hmm. I can't think of anything I need.
Tell him to follow his heart, and we agree with him whatever he does.
Let him know that somehow, should we ever return down there, or should he ever return to the surface, seek Clara out. She misses him.
I'll pass it along. And you see, like, you're noticing now he's, like, lifts over, like, 2 sacks over his shoulder. And it looks like while you guys had your little run-in with the assassin, he went out and did some shopping. And you see as he just, like, climbs into the little, like, elevator in the center that you guys have all come up before, pulls on a cord, and then you see as he drops beneath the surface. Then
Well, it's always great to see him. Now, however, I don't want to find the artsiest looking merchant there is.
define artsy, because
Eccentric.
eccentric is probably, if you walk out into the main market, I'll ping them. But you see that... Also, by now, Tavro, you are normal size again.
Yes.
Hello?
Yep, are you out of the room yet, Fox?
Oh no, so I am currently bottling beer, so I'm about 15 feet away from my computer.
Never mind, I will move you. Okay. But yeah, so you kind of like step back out into the market area, and you see one of the drow who has their stuff set up. Everyone here seems to be a bit eccentric, but you notice that this one, all of his wares are gemstones, or what seems to be some sort of like minerals and gemstones.
Tell me, good sir, you seem to be a purveyor of finer things. However, have you ever seen an art piece such as this? I'm going to pull out the skull of the Bone Collective.
And he just looks it over and he goes, well, it looks to be a calcified skull. Nothing too impressive.
Damn it, this guy knows what's up.
Thought you could
Entirely
take a
reasonable.
normal
Have a nice
skull and
day.
sell it.
I don't know. I don't
tries
have it
to-
on me too much longer.
I mean, just in general, out of anybody who would know anything about, like, body parts, especially after they're dead, it would probably be the guild whose job is to recycle them and turn them into fertilizer.
They what?
I mean, that's not illegal. That is, like, their job. That is what the Golgari do. That is their job in society. They run the sewer systems, and they do a mix of, like, regenerating, reanimating, and turning the dead into fertilizer. So they do a lot of, like, farming for that, too. He just goes, if you're looking for any gems, Are you looking... Why do you show me the skull? Do you want it reanimated? Are you looking to ask it questions? Maybe make a, artifact out of it? Those are things I could ask.
Perhaps I could get some gems, perhaps worth 300 gold pieces.
And as you say that, he goes, a cleric, are we?
Indeed, as I sort of flick at my Orzhov amulet and say, what gave it away?
He goes, frankly, only those who touch the divine tend to cast Revivify.
You talk to me red-handed now. I'm assuming some fine purveyor as yourself would have the materials that I seek.
Oh, but of course. And you see as he, like, turns around and pulls out, like, he just, like, you see as he has lots of, like, little drawers. It almost looks like a toolbox with all those little plastic drawers, and he just pulls one out. And he pulls out what look to be a few diamonds that are slightly tainted purple and glowing faintly.
I'm analyzing them. These are like the ones I usually get from the surface.
Sorry, your mic was cutting in and out there. I could not understand that.
Saying, these are unlike ones I usually get upon the surface.
Yes, the grown diamonds are a little bit different, but don't worry, they interact with the weave just as well as anything else.
Of course. How much for it?
Well, you said you wanted 300 gold worth.
I meant to say an arbitrary amount that looks like 300 gold worth would purchase, quote unquote.
If you're looking to cast Revivification, I can portion them out properly for you. How many times do you think an ally will die?
Well, hopefully not many. So I was hoping to get to just one for now, for usually it's easier to get the payment for services provided as they're occurring, not preemptively purchasing too many goods.
Of course, of course. And you said that these diamonds look different than what you're used to. Should I take it that you're not familiar with the properties of grown crystals?
Please enlighten me.
We grow these, form them out of the bones of the dead. Sometimes they carry some of the spirit's energy with them. Now, this doesn't affect their magic, but it can bestow other properties. I can give you a few smaller diamonds, adding up to a cast of Revivify, and nothing will... They'll basically just be normal diamonds. Or I can give you one or two larger ones, and you might be able to use their tertiary effects in the meantime.
Interesting. Perhaps a few larger ones instead.
Good. Now, would you like to split this with someone, or are you using it for yourself?
Hey Kai, you want to split?
I'm not there.
Okay. I'll just pay for them both myself right now.
And so you're getting two large ones, like two medium ones, not one large one?
Oh, one large one's an option. I'll get the largest one then.
Yeah, sorry. So it's many small ones, two medium ones, or one large one? So you're doing...
One large one calls to me.
Very good. That will be, of course, the 300 gold.
Of course, then I'll hand it over and sort of analyze the gem. As you do business with you.
And you as well. So, while you're doing a little bit of shopping, Kai, you took Aldrich and went to the nearest Azorius office, correct?
Did Aldrich come with me? That's up to him.
That is part of what I'm asking. So, Aldrich, are you going? Or are you staying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Going.
Yeah, so you know that there's one about a 15-minute walk away. It's not too hard for you to get to, and you're looking like pretty beat up and bloody, and you see as you're walking through some of the like shadier areas of Tin Street, there's like goblins that are eyeing you up and down, and it looks like a few of them are about to jump you, and then they like look at the blood on you, they look at just the anger and exhaustion on your face, and they decide, you know what, better some other mook, and no one messes with you, and you make it to the Azorius office, which has been closed down, but you're able to use your signet to unlock one of the doors, and there is like a little crashing area for members of the guild to come. It's just like 3 or 4 cots, very basic, and there doesn't seem to be anybody else there.
Imagine being so beat up that even goblins pity you.
There's a little more of the, okay, others have failed and we might too.
I see. Yeah, so if nobody, like, greets me or anything, I'm going to go straight to, like, 2 beds, and I'll say to Aldrich, like, hopefully you can rest well for your first night back up on the surface. We have quite a few questions to ask you in the morning, but for now, I think we've earned a good night's sleep. Assuming you still need that? I'm not sure what your situation is, but I need it.
We should either.
Justin, you're
sits on the
cutting
bed
in and
and-
out a little bit for me. I'm not sure if that's true for everyone.
Yeah, same.
Yes.
me try to change my sensitivity.
That is much
Oh, that
better.
sounds better now.
Yeah.
Because I had went close to my mic on my computer. Is this good right here?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay, so Aldrich is like, to be honest, I don't really know my own situation either. As he sits down on the bed and
Well then, try.
so Aldrich goes and tries to sleep.
Okay, so the two of you are heading to sleep. Clara already left. Fox will come back to you after we hit up the Boros folk. So, Tavro and Gideon, you are kind of like standing around. You saw as Kai took the newest recruit and brought him back, like, said that he was taking him back to one of the Azorius offices.
Yeah, let me
Gideon-
say, like,
oh.
I can always go back and say, like, it was an open invitation if anyone needed a place to sleep.
Well, Tavro and I aren't far from Sunhome, so we might as well just go back there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sunhome specifically is where, like, that is where Tavro is stationed. That's not your,
Yes.
like, specific office, Gideon, but all Boros are always welcome at Sunhome.
Where is my office?
Your office is... One second, I have to check my notes from your background.
I mean, I don't remember either.
You were in Precinct 2 because you were close to Whitestone.
Okay.
So you'd be like 2 hours away from your place, and at this point in night, transportation isn't running. So you're somewhat limited to where you can walk to. But Sunhome is always open to any member of the Boros, unless, of course, you've been exiled. Which
I don't
you
think
haven't
I've
been. As far as you're aware, you haven't been. And also just, you haven't been. That's fine metagame knowledge for you to have. You're still a Boros member.
Cool.
So it would take you guys about 30 to 35 minutes to walk back to Sunhome if you wanted to set up in the barracks there.
That works
That's
for me?
fine with me.
Yeah, so you head back, and as you leave, as you get like 20 minutes in, you see a few other units of Boros soldiers who had gone out to like clear up and protect citizens from the slaughter parade. You see like others kind of coming back with injuries. They take a glance at you and they just immediately assume like, okay, they were also like doing some sort of shutdown of slaughter parade activities. So you get like a little bit of conversation, but it's very somber as like other Boros members are just slowly heading back to the guild hall. And once you get back, like you're met with a captain, basically telling everybody that they've done a good job and that there will be a debriefing in the morning. So you two are able to
Understood.
set up in the guild hall barracks where you both have a private bed and you are both able to get long rest. So I think that just
Yes.
brings us to Fox. After buying your crystal, is there anything else you'd like to do before finding a place to crash?
No, I'm good to just go crash.
Alright, and you are like literally 4 minutes from your guild hall, so I assume you go there.
Yes. Be right back. I'm switching from phone to computer.
Sure.
How could this happen?
Yeah, so you head back to Orzova. You can take the extra 10 minutes to walk to Viscopa, which is the one you actually work out of, but Orzova is open to you, and you're able to get back. There's a few people like up just doing work, but you know firsthand that Orzhov members tend to not discuss too much when they're working. It's more of if they have something they need from you. So you're mostly just ignored as you head into one of the sleeping areas, and you are also able to get a long night's rest. As you all rest, you all level up to level 6.
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
So if you haven't done so already, because I know that was noted at the end of last session, you are all now level 6. You get your bonus hit points. I'm pretty sure, Fox, you're the only one with any sort of choice here. Everybody else just gets automatic things.
I get really good stuff this level.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying
I
other
get-
people don't get stuff. It's just like, I'm pretty sure
no, yeah. I'm just
he's the only one with, like, a
I'm
choice
just-
of spells.
ease.
No,
Oh,
level
this character
7,
sheet
I get
doesn't do the
level 4
automatic.
spells.
Oh, I don't know why I thought you got one more spell that you knew at this level. Never mind.
Oh, let me
right.
check. I got another spell slot.
Yeah, I thought you got, like, another 3rd level spell slot, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I do get. Oh,
My movement bonus goes up.
Oh, right, you're getting speedier. Now you can finally keep up with your new insect friend.
I think now I just get expertise, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you just get expertise as a rogue.
It says choose 2 more of your skill proficiencies, or one of my skill proficiencies and my proficiency with thieves' tools. How proficient am I in that?
So you are proficient in thieves' tools as a rogue.
Oh.
Basically, you can take what your 2 things that you're proficient in and make yourself double proficient in them. So if you look on your character sheet, like if you actually open up your character sheet,
Yeah.
on the left side you see all the things, and some of them have a check mark next to it. If you click that check mark, you might have to click it a few times, but you can basically take 2 of the skills that have a check mark and make it a double check mark.
Oh, I see.
Pat, I don't know what you just did, but you just gained and lost the unarmored movement effect like 40 times.
Yeah, the edit page didn't come up immediately, so I clicked it like 6 times, and then it came up 6 times.
Got
But
it.
I got it back now.
Cool.
Zach, would my elemental cleaver be an inactive effect or feature or what?
Let me take a quick look because I don't have that Unearthed
E.
Arcana subclass memorized yet.
I can give you a URL if you want.
I think I put it. I do have the elemental cleaver stuff. I already programmed it and I'm putting it on your sheet.
Aha! Thank you.
Yeah, I knew
yes,
I
there
did
it is.
something with it. It's gonna take a second because there's like 5 different ones.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
It was just easier for me to make one of each element as opposed to one where you could choose.
No, that's fair.
Yeah, so that is something that just happens when you rage.
Yes.
Looks like you're missing the cold one. Now you should have all of them.
Yeah.
Zach, I have a quick question.
Yep.
For expertise, I have to pick something that I'm already proficient in, correct?
Let me read it real fast because it might let you become proficient in something new.
Okay.
I can tell you in 30 seconds.
Cool. Because I'm like proficient in a couple things, but half proficient in some other.
Yeah, so this is only things that you are already proficient in, because this is an improvement of the expertise skill that you already had.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
That's what I thought. But I'm gonna double check.
yeah, there are a few things that I'm not sure why you have half proficient. I don't think you should have half proficiencies in anything. You might be gimping yourself a little bit.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, you're supposed to be completely proficient in those.
In what?
The
Oh,
ones that
in these?
are half.
Oh. Well, I guess I'll fix that now.
Yeah, I mean, good for you. You just got a serious boost on 4 of your rolls.
Nice, nice.
And by a serious
Cool.
boost, I mean a +1, but still.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes that's all the difference, you know?
Hey,
Anybody?
Zach,
Yep.
I'm gonna mess up your autos a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I might have to program in embodiment of the law for you. Actually, no, I should have that already. Give me 1 second. You now have embodiment of the law.
I am the law.
Is there anything else that you get at this level?
No, I don't think so. Except extra channel
Yeah.
divinity and an extra spell.
Right, yeah, now you can use it 2 per rest, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, you should be good. Kai, do you have any questions?
I'm just trying to set up the new Way of the Long Death feature, because it has a description, but it doesn't make it an active ability.
Oh, yeah, some of the
I found it in the
things-
compendium, but yeah, it was there. It just wasn't set up right.
Apologies.
No, it's all right. I'm just doing that.
Cool. You also get magic hands at this level, right?
Yes, I have that.
Okay, cool.
Does that automatic? That should automatically make my unarmed strikes do that, right? Does it even matter?
It does, because the system will do half damage if it resists non-magical attacks, but now your unarmed strike should be a magical attack to overcome those.
Okay, it looks like, again, it was just a passive thing with no effect. I don't know how to add features properly, I guess.
Well, no, that's like a thing. If you look at your unarmed strike now and go to details, it probably has the magical property on it.
Let's see. Ah, it does say magic item.
Yeah, there's some hidden stuff in the background that players don't get access to the coding of, so you might not actually be able to see, like, some passive effects like that. I don't understand 100% about how some of the preset stuff is set up, but it works-ish.
I'm sorry I'm being annoying about this. How do I update my level?
Go into features on your sheet, and then where it says rogue, you should be able to change it from level 5 to level 6.
There we go. Cool. Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
I'm good.
All right. So You all gain the benefits of a long rest. It is a very deep sleep. I know you didn't all actually say a place that you meet up, but if you want to say that there's a place you meet up, that is totally fine. But one thing is of note. Aldrich and Kai, you both wake up around the same time, and Aldrich, you see that for like a few seconds after Kai looks at you the first time, his eyes are glowing like neon blue, and it almost looks like they're crackling with electricity before it kind of dies down, and it goes back to kind of normal eyes, but where most people have like the white of their eye outside of their iris, it looks like his iris has expanded, so his entire eyes are like just now coated in blue.
Okay. Like point toward his like my own eyes, like as I like do like a motion, like is this all right?
Huh. So you can see that. Interesting. Yes, it is all right. Pay no attention to it.
Are you sure?
It's
Is there anything wrong?
It's a very long story. Perhaps over time it will come to light.
And Kai, as you have this little exchange, you just hear a little voice over your shoulder say, "We might need to hide that." And then the voice fades.
Do I know, is it a thing to get either like glasses or contacts?
Glasses and goggles are both like a thing in this world that are readily available. They're not the cheapest thing because intricate glasswork is always kind of expensive. It requires an artisan who's like trained in it. But it is something that you could readily get. Contacts, not so much.
I see.
Wait, they're actually very expensive. I'm like, I know this is like out of character, but like I look at the glasses that Ooze gave me, like, oh.
Yep. Let's just say the way you paid him was something quite valuable.
Gotcha.
But yeah, you do look over at your new friend Kai as well, and you see that he's wearing like it looks like sunglasses, but they kind of like wrap around the face so that they completely cover the eyes, and there's like no place for unfiltered light to get in. It almost looks like domed little curved glass that is tinted completely black over his eyes.
Huh. Where did you get those?
The drow from yesterday, Ulis, I believe his name was. He had given them to me when we were on our way up from the underground. I believe he said something along the lines of, "Help me look more like a drow," and so I wouldn't get caught.
Hmm.
You
We may have to pay another visit back to the marketplace.
You make a quick mental note that they do not help him look like a drow.
No.
The rest of you have a more uneventful wake up. Even that wasn't very eventful, but there were a few things to note. With the Fox, you wake up and you had a private room. As someone who's in their night training, you are eligible for a private room whenever you stay at the main guild hall. So you're not really disturbed. You just wake up naturally. the Boros among us, you wake up pretty early. You are still able to get the benefits of a long rest, but it is pretty early, as there is a standard militarized wake-up time in Sunhome. It's not anything that either of you are unused to, but you were out pretty late, so you're a bit groggy as you hear like the meal hall bell ringing, and you just hear like a few shouts over like there's like a pipe system that basically works as a PA system, and you just hear slaughter parade debriefing in 15 minutes, mess hall.
Jeez. I
Guess
will
we
go
will
to it.
make our way down there.
Yes, that sounds good. I'm Big Cow.
And one thing to note about those who work in the Sunhome, it is almost exclusively Minotaurs and Celestials who work in the main guild hall. So as Tavro wakes up and goes, "Yes, I am Big Cow," you just see as a bunch of other Minotaurs like kind of like are also stretching, and they're all kind of like saying the same things like, "Yeah, I'm Big Cow. Ooh, good stretch for Big Cow."
So simple.
But
As
yeah,
somebody who is not Big Cow, I try not to attract any attention to myself.
there are a few like non-celestial, non-minotaur, but this is probably the most minotaurs you will get in one room in the entire city.
I see.
Other than maybe like a minotaur nursery.
Could you imagine?
Oh, they exist. Tavro was actually not born into one because of his backstory, but he would have been.
Was a good boy.
Alright, so
Debrief.
yeah. As you two go into the debrief, because you two are together, I'm actually going to have you two hop into the other chat for a minute.
Oh.
Oh.
And non-Boros, you can think about what your goals are for the day, and then we'll move on to you.
Are we just going to the
Yeah.
game one?
Yeah, just go into the game one.
Okay. Wow.
We're spatial.
So you take a few minutes to kind of like wake up. There's like water and coffee at the end of the hall, so you're like able to get a little caffeine into your systems, get dressed. One thing that you note is, like Tavro, you know this. Gideon, I don't know how much interaction you've had with the main guild hall in the past, but whereas the one in Precinct 2 that you're usually a part of is somewhat lax, as it's primarily an investigative unit. So there's a lot of like civilian clothes. Think like detective versus uniformed cop, where so you are usually wearing like a bit more lenient in what you want to wear. It's a bit more comfortable. There is not a single person around here who is not in uniform and not well pressed. And like even Tavro, like after he shed his messed up clothes last night, like he has a freshly pressed suit waiting at his like bed foot when he wakes up. And Tavro, I know you're a barbarian, but you do have to wear it in the hall.
Wait,
Oh,
so
I wear.
I know.
So what have I been wearing?
Whatever you want. As long as it has the Boros insignia somewhere on it, you are welcome to wear it as your official clothing usually. You just look out of place going to a debriefing in the main Sunhome.
Okay.
But there are like suit racks. You can get a standard cop's uniform, or you can continue wearing what you want. It's your choice.
Okay. I just had always assumed that I was like wearing Boros like clothes.
You are wearing Boros clothes. It's just like I think like Fantasy City equivalent of button down and slacks versus like military uniform.
Okay.
Like both are officially given to you by the Boros.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
you now look like a civilian member of law enforcement stepping onto a military base.
I see. Okay.
All right, so you head down into the like main mess hall where they have announcements, and you see that this is Tavro once again, less strange for you, although it is still much larger than usual. Gideon, this is probably like the largest collection of Boros that you've seen together since your graduation from the academy. Like there are Boros from the various barracks and guild halls across the city have all gathered here for a special debriefing on last night. And you see Tavro, you've probably seen them before, just working in Sunhome. Gideon, you've actually had an interaction with this individual a few weeks back, as you both see Feather, a battle angel and the commander of the Sunhome Protection Force, fly up to the front of the like hall, and you see as two like thaumaturges next to her like say something, and you hear as her voice starts booming across the hall over you all, and she goes, "Friends and comrades, last night we have faced a slaughter parade, one that we have not seen in 13 years since the last attack from the Gore House. As you're all aware, in the last few months, things have become restless, and there is violence in the streets. The terrorist attacks on the guild halls only 2 weeks prior to this, now the largest slaughter parade in 13 years. The cult of Yor has started growing again, and yet another cult, apparently calling themselves the Children of Sand, have sprung up out of one of the abandoned crypts of the Orzhov. Chaos is returning to Ravnica. Not just the Gruul defectors who stop us from becoming who are within the rights of the Guild Pact, but true chaos like the times before. Our guild leader, Aurelia, will make statement at this upcoming month's Chamber of the Guild Pact. But let it be known now, it is time to prepare, time to mobilize for war. Us angels were created at the time of the Guild Pact as members of the Peacekeepers. But our first names were the Angels of Wrath and Vengeance. The Parahelion too will return to the 10th District, and we shall re-establish order amongst the guilds. Prepare yourself, for soon those who resist must die. You may all now return to your assigned positions." And you see as she drifts off away from the podium.
Well done.
And you just hear like the entire place is like erupting in conversation as people are just like huddling off into little groups and discussing the announcement that just happened. And with that, I think we actually, is there anything the two of you would like to do before you rejoin the group?
Who is that person?
when you guys went to Sunhome after the Gruul riots from the terrorist attack attacked, Feather was the angel that you fought alongside to fell the fire giant, and she was the one who told you about a few different things that she had ideally wanted you to investigate, such as a magical disease spreading throughout the city.
Ooh, I don't remember that.
It's been, I think, over a year since that session, so I don't blame you.
Yeah, and Zach, do we see the Minotaur that was like leading that group of Boros yesterday? Is he here, or
Give
is he
me-
back at his precinct?
Give me a perception check. He did say to go to the Precinct 2 halls for interrogation, which is actually
Yeah,
where,
I thought it was Sunhome that he said.
yeah, that's actually where Gideon tends to work, out of the Precinct 2 barracks.
Yeah. So I figured,
Precinct 2?
oh, it was almost a nat 20, but nope.
Sorry, what was that, Katie?
Oh, wait, that wasn't mine, actually.
I was
That's
saying
someone
why. I was asking why he needs to go to Precinct 2.
14.
So, I mean, you would know, like, he said go in for questioning. You're part of Precinct 2 because you're in the investigative unit. So he's probably
But why
saying,
why are we being brought in for questioning?
not you, Clara.
Oh, sorry. I
Yeah,
missed that.
but he did say that he wanted all of us to be there at some
Yeah,
point.
so it is a somewhat safe assumption that he's probably at that guild hall. And you also know how these announcements work. Everyone in Boros probably just heard that same message.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Or at least
yeah,
everyone who's part of Boros in the 10th district. Outside of this specific city, you don't know. You've probably never been on mission outside of the city because it's fucking huge.
Right, yeah. Gotcha. Alright.
Is there anything you two would like to do before we rejoin the group?
I think that's it for me.
Since this is the more military, the more military base, there wouldn't be disguises or anything here, right?
There's a little bit of everything here. How much you have access to as not a member of the Sunhome is going to be limited in terms of specific equipment. So basic disguise kits you could probably get. Anything more advanced than that, you'd have to go to your own guild hall or get permission from a higher up to access the more specific stuff.
Okay. So the stuff that I'm wearing, can the Boros Signia be removed from it? Because I think in order to get at least the way I was gonna go about trying to track down Krenko and Rix was that I was gonna need to go undercover at some point, and I obviously can't do that if I'm wearing Boros clothes.
So if you'll recall, you were given a new uniform when you joined your specific... when we did your bossing say, you were given a new uniform alongside your blade, and part of that uniform allows the insignia to be magically replaced with any other guild's insignia or erased completely. It's like an illusion magic built into the cloth.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, also, there is one more thing I'd like to do if possible. Is my, the one who gives me, my assignments, can I try and find them and give them an update?
Yes, so they would be here, since you work out of this. You would actually know exactly where to find them. So you head over to, your unit's barracks, and you find your captain, who's named whatever you want. It's your captain.
Oh, God. Pizza Man. No, not Pizza Man. I, I don't know, man. pork power.
Okay,
I
so
don't know.
Captain Parith is available. You work
Excellent.
under a low-level celestial named Captain Parith, who has been working their way up from like battlefield angel now to a like more commanding officer role. So he has been your captain for about 4 months now, and you're able to find him pretty easily.
Gotcha. And now I do look to Gideon and be like, would you wait for me for a, a bit? I need to go report to my superior.
Sure, I don't mind. Don't really have much anything better to do anyway right now. I'll go grab some
Get
bread.
out of the chat. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Basically, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go up to him and report some basically like what I've seen over the past insane 24 hours. Be like, Captain, on my way to investigate and perhaps clear the undead threat within the Druid Enclave, I met another group that had already what's the word? Engaged in combat with it. It turns out that there's a group that it is it comprised of a few different of the guilds that I've now been with this past day. Not only did they take down the bone, well, they didn't know it was a bone collector. They just knew it was undead, right?
Yeah, you were more sent as a scout than anything. They just got
Yeah.
reports that those druids needed some help clearing out an undead from their circle. You were supposed
Right.
to
Yes.
come
So
back with information on what undead it was and how much force you needed.
Yes. Well, you see, I tell him that when I got that, people were already fighting it, and so I joined in. And then I tell him that it was a bone collective. However much detail Tavo can manage to give him of that, and also about the people. Not that they're also Demir agents. I think I'll keep that to myself for now. But I tell them that like it's like a group of like different people from different guilds that are together that were fighting it. And then that the Orzhov, someone from the Orzhov, managed to take it under their control. And so that like it's under their control technically. And then what was it? Oh yeah. Also, just based on what something Kai told me, I don't have the exact specifics because my journal and bio keep getting erased, and I don't know how. But
Sorry about that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, I think it might just be glitching or something like that. I don't think it's anyone's fault, unless I'm doing something stupid. But anyway, I just want to tell them that like apparently Azorius had a vested interest in Rakdos, and so like they were involved last night. Not that they like were making it happen, but that they were like playing along with Rakdos in order to get more information on taking them down. I think was what it was.
Sure. And after you like just go through this long debrief of where you've been and everything that has escalated over the last 24 hours, he just kind of like thinks to himself for a minute and goes, It seems you've been through a lot in these last 24 hours. I know he sent you out on a scout mission against the undead. But, well, you heard the announcement this morning. If we're about to be going to war with the other guilds, it might be good to get as much information on them beforehand as possible. Stay with this new group. Report back on what you can find from them. Be ready to exploit whatever information you can get about. Find out if the other guilds are preparing for war the same way we are. And then we can use that potentially to help with our plans moving forward.
Understood. I figured that might be best, considering it seems to be interesting bunch. For what it's worth, it seems like most of them seem to be not horribly out of order. But I do have my eye on one Orzov member who was the one who managed to take the Bone Collective into his control. He, compared to the rest of them, seems a bit lacking in morals department.
Then he's probably the best one to watch. If he steps out of
Indeed.
line, you know what to do.
Sounds good. They're understood.
Dismiss.
Yes, thank you. And I leave and meet up with Gideon again.
Cool. And we'll head back into the chat.
Yeah.
Alright, so the Boros members get their little debrief, and now we're gonna hop over to Kai and Aldrich. What would you like to do?
I go back to the market.
The one from last night, or like...
The one from last night.
Sure. So you head back to the market, and one thing that you note is during the day, this seems to just be like a standard throughway on Tin Street with like some tables, but it's mostly seems to be like returned to a little like transportation highway where primarily goblins are moving things between warehouses. None of the drow are still there. And give me a perception check.
I should have actually known that it was gonna be that. You know, the night market isn't, during the day. That makes sense.
The perception?
Yeah, and Aldrich, if you're joining him, you can give a perception check as well. Or investigation,
Cool.
actually, if you'd prefer.
She's super good at perception check.
Oof.
Super good at perception checks.
I mean, you do get a +10.
Holy shit.
So Kai, you are actually able to pick out one face that you recognize from the night before. One of the goblins who seems to be kind of, like, directing some of the other goblins moving moving goods between warehouses. You recognize a scar, like, on the side of his face. He was one of the vendors last night that you didn't interact with, but you did see out at the night market.
I don't actually... I was hoping... I came here looking for stuff to buy, so I guess this doesn't really help me. But,
Yeah,
I'll
more
go
want
up to the
day
goblin.
markets for that.
I'll go up to the goblin.
And as you approach, you see as he just kind of looks up and goes, "What can I do for you?"
You know what operates around here. I'm sure there are safeguards for creatures that frequent this area, except during the day, covering the eyes, shielding from the sunlight.
He goes, "Yeah, looks like your friend over there already has a pair.
Right,
If that's what you're talking about, at least."
it is. Where do we get them? Do we have to come back at night, or can we do that now?
And he looks at you like a little bit closer, and then sees the blue in your eyes, and he goes, "Interesting. Well,
It doesn't exactly come out when you saw me last.
I think we can make a little arrangement here. I, may provide some helpful goods to our underground folk who aren't so used to the sun up here. Although it might not be too good for a daywalker. Makes things pretty dark. You sure you want one?"
Will be of no problem to me.
I assume you don't have a trade license here.
I do not.
Then, unfortunately, I can't give you the friends and family discount, you know? It'll just be a straight 700 gold then.
Fuck. Listen, I examined what those things were. I think we both know that's not what it goes for here.
You're right, it's much cheaper to those with a license.
And how do I get a license?
Well, you can take it up with one of the nobles down in the Undercity. Any of them can give you a license to get up. Or, I mean, you can go to a standard optician in the 1st District, but you'll run into some problems there. First, I'm not going to ask about those pretty blue eyes you got, and I'm certainly not going to pass along the info if you buy a pair of glasses. Second, now, this might not be as big a problem for you, but the glasses they make out there, they're not meant for the Undercity folk. Won't protect you from the sun.
Sorry, can you repeat that last part?
If you get one of those normal glasses, they don't know how to make them for the Undercity folk. It won't protect you from the sun like ours do.
You know what? I guess that will do for now. Alright.
I mean, of course,
We'll
if
be
you're
back.
If you're willing to scratch my back, I might be willing to scratch yours.
Yeah, I'm not exactly one for back scratching. I'll be on my way.
I'll see you later.
So then, I guess further out of the way, 1st Precinct is where I need to go.
Yeah,
but
so, like, you know, like, the same, like, jeweler's district, you can probably find, like, an optometrist. At the same time, if you're just trying to get something over your face, you know that you could probably pick up, like, a pair of welding goggles from Clara's house.
You know what? Yeah, let's go to Clara's house, and I'll go ask her for that.
Yeah, so you knock and like you see that Susie Phillips answers the door and like calls out to Clara and says like, "Your friend's here," and you hear as like you hear something called back, but you don't quite make out what Clara says. And then Susie just goes, "My daughter and I are doing some training work, and it's a little time sensitive. Can I help you quickly?"
Yes, we have just a very quick job that we need to take care of on our own. I just need to borrow a pair of goggles for the time being. You'll get them back. I see. I can't exactly have myself getting injured on the job since we don't have our resident expert.
And she goes, "Well, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily, you're not a trained engineer, but..." And you see as she, like, hears another call out from Clara and goes, "You know, I gotta go." And you see as she just, like, takes the goggles off her head and hands them to you. "Just get them back at some point. I have a few spares, it's fine. Clara can bring it back next time she visits home."
I just put those on.
Alright, yeah, they're, like, not the most comfortable. Like, they're basically, like, suction cups around your eyes. But they do make it pretty hard for anybody else to see your eyes.
It'll do.
And Aldrich, are you just tagging along for all this? Is there anything that you wanted to do today?
Drake is just taking in everything. Like he's like reacclimating to being on the surface. So like he's gathering his thoughts. So he's just following along for the moment. Figure out what could possibly be doing next. figure out also how long he's been down there and all that. He's just absorbing. He's just
All right. So you're just tagging along. You're absorbing a little bit. You are definitely like picking up a little bit on some of the changes that have happened in the Overcity. Like, it seems a bit more developed than the last time you were out here. And even like wearing these particularly like dark glasses that are covering your eyes, like, it's still so bright out that it burns a little bit just to like have your eyes out, like without like a hand up to cover the shade. But you're able to like slowly start acclimating, and like by the time Kai gets his goggles, you're at the point where like your eyes have adjusted to, while you're wearing your glasses, be able to like see without anything else.
Can you repeat that last part of the sentence? Being able to see what?
Like without needing to block light from anything else.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like, you don't need a hood up to additionally give you shade anymore, for example. You just need the glasses.
Gotcha.
Alright, and then Fox. You wake up in your room in Viscopa. What would you like to do?
Well, I don't know if the other members have any tasks they want to do as a group. So I am just gonna say I'm gonna spend the morning doing quote-unquote prep work and trying to find supplies to take from the Scopa for a certain specific thing I'm gonna do. So,
Alright.
like, am I still able to grab just normal oil flasks and holy water?
Flasks you can get for free. If you want actually blessed holy water, you'll either have to spend time doing a ritual to make it, or you'll have to buy some pre-made.
Can I just grab like 3 flasks of oil?
As long as it's not consecrated or desecrated, you can get as much like flasks of oil as you want for free.
Yes! Oh wait, I already have a flask of holy water, so I don't need that. Never mind.
Alright, so I'll say you all kind of take the morning doing your own things, so, like, doing your debrief at Sunhome, going off, getting, like, a pair of goggles from, the Phillips family, stocking up on, like, flasks of oil and stuff, and decompressing from the night before. And it's around, like, 10:40 a.m. now, and you all said that you were gonna meet at 11 somewhere. Where?
The night market.
So would you all
It's
like
not
to just
at night.
all meet back up at the night market? Like around
I
11
thought we
a.m.?
were just going back to like where we were meeting Clara at the investigation. No.
Yeah,
Well,
so,
no, because she's not here, so we have to occupy the day until she gets back.
yeah, so you know that at some point later in the day, Clara is supposed to head to the Precinct 2 Boros Barracks for questioning. And you all said that you would probably go with her. But that was going to be later in the afternoon because Clara said she needed to do something with her parents first. So, you still have the rest of the day to do whatever you want, and you can always let her go off alone to the questioning if you want to move beyond just today. But right now, it is the morning, and aside from Clara, all of you are welcome to meet up at whatever location you want and just say that you discussed it last night before splitting up.
Yeah. Well, is everyone here?
Yeah.
Now that we've
So-
gotten some rest, I have something to look into real quick if you don't mind following me.
I might. What is it?
I'm gonna start walking towards the office where I was ambushed.
Let me also make this map daytime for you guys. You should be able to see without a dedicated light source now because it's, daytime.
Daytime.
Oh my god.
And so you're all able to kind of head up into that little, like, it really is like an office that has been converted into like a little safe house. And you see it is been pretty, like, there's not too much there, and it has been abandoned. There's like a small cot, a few small like casks with like water and food and rations and things like that, a small lockbox, and a desk with some papers on it.
I'm gonna go through the papers to try to find anything, like any writing or anything useful.
Sure. Give me an investigation check.
Oh boy.
All right. Yeah, so with a 19, you are like ruffling through the papers on the desk. It looks like quite a few of them are blank. You do see pretty much the only things with writing on them are 2 sealed envelopes that are still on the desk. One of which is addressed to Miria, and one of which is addressed to you, Fox. And as you're searching, and just like kind of looking around the desk, you actually notice on the underside of the desk is a small little like indentation, and when you press it, there's a false bottom drawer that pops out, and inside that is a like small porcelain stone.
All right. I am going to look that over and like quickly do a quick like investigation. Does anything like seem immediately strange about it?
It is like a pristine porcelain stone. You don't really notice anything strange other than like it's clearly been like carved very precisely to be almost like a perfect sphere. It's about like it can very easily like fit in between like your thumb and forefinger. It's not very large. Yeah, that's all you're really able to make out without doing like an identifier or a detect magic or some other
All right.
thing to figure
I'm
out
gonna
more.
I'm gonna set that aside to figure out later. I'm gonna go look at the 2 letters.
Yeah, so you do see 2 sealed envelopes, one addressed to Miria, one addressed to Fox.
All right. I'm gonna start with the Fox one, obviously.
All right. As you open it up, I need you and anyone standing within 5 feet of you to give me a Constitution saving throw, as a burst of green and yellow spores start like spewing out of the envelope. So with how the map is, that's Gideon and Fox.
Yeah, I'm trying to find that in my. How do I do a saving throw in this again?
If you're like clicked on your character in the top left, there should be like that bar of options, and under saves, you just click Constitution.
I'm on my character sheet.
Oh, then just click the word Constitution.
Ah, there we go.
All right, 1 second. I need to actually check what that is. Yeah, so the rest of you see as Gideon and Fox, you both need to roll 4d6.
That's how many hours you're going to be incapacitated.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so both of you start like breathing in these like weird spores and start coughing, convulsing, and then both of you collapse incapacitated.
Oh, great.
Wait, holy crap, actually.
Yep.
Where did these spores come from? Because Fox opened a letter.
Fox opened a letter addressed to him on an assassin's desk.
I see.
Does that produce any noise at all?
They start like violently coughing and retching for a few seconds before they collapse, so you would definitely hear that.
Yeah, I'm gonna then run up to the door and see what happens.
Yeah, and
Can
you
the
see
spores
that-
dissipate?
Yeah, so you see like both of them are lying on the ground now, and like they're convulsing slightly, and you see like these spores kind of just like settling down around them. So they didn't really.
Okay.
It was like an initial burst into the air, and now they have settled.
Can I get one word off in like an action as like my quote unquote dying breath to Big Cal?
You were choking as you went down.
Okay.
So if you can cough it out, then I guess. Yeah, so Tavro, if you got that, you can act on it.
I did not get that. What did he say?
I want to say he said Clara. But also, I wasn't in the room when he went down. I heard coughing and then
Aldrich,
came
did
up.
you hear what he said?
I did not, but we have to do something now. I don't know. Do you, as a to the big burly, like, do you know any healings or any that can help them?
I don't know anything like that.
Ah, God. What has he done this time?
It seems like he tried to say something, but I didn't understand.
So,
Well, what did he do? What happened here?
He opened up something and it exploded in spores, and then they both fell to the ground. I imagine it was the assassin that we fought last night.
Would stand to reason. That's why I
I'd
didn't
like
want
to-
to come in here.
I'd like to pick them both up over my shoulders.
oh, hold on. Before you do that, Aldrich just like doesn't know what to do. He's just his hand down and tries something at least.
So one
'Cause
thing
I'm
to
gonna
note,
do s-
you're welcome to do what you want, but like your characters can see that both of them have like a dusting of these spores covering their bodies. Just so that you know before you do anything to touch them, you might be fine.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna like fuck you over by not letting you know that.
No, that's fair. Fair. Assume. If you say so.
As your swarm just starts to eat Fox.
Actually trying to find something that's gonna be helpful. Okay, cool. So light doesn't like uses swarm as like a mage hand to try to dust them down to clear the dust from them.
I'll step back as he does that.
Alright, yeah, so you're
I'm not
able
getting
to
near
kinda,
that.
like, brush off the spores with mage hand kind of into the corner. And it takes a minute, but you're able to pretty much get all of them off with the mage hand. So you see that there's, like, as they're breathing, you can still see, like, little puffs of spores if they, like, let out a cough. But, you don't see, like, you've gotten the spores off of their body.
And then I peek them up.
Yeah, you're able to pick them up, and like you feel them kind of like convulsing slightly against your body as, like you're just carrying them out.
I carry them out.
All right.
So, where exactly do we go with this? Do we? I guess we need to get them to a healer.
I suppose that would make sense. Do you know of any?
It's a good question. Who would know how to deal with poison or spores besides Jerry?
I mean, I could try to rush with Gideon back to Sunholm.
I mean, could you not take both? Be a good citizen?
Well, I don't like him.
Well, I mean, that's a given, but
I mean, I guess, but I'm not sure if angels and stuff would want to heal him. Good Fox.
Would you like to try something once on one of them and see if it works before he tries on the other? So he touches. So he touches. Flip a coin on who he touches. Touches Gideon and tries to cast Cure Wounds.
All right. So you do cast Cure Wounds, and like the rest of you see as he kind of puts his hand on Gideon, and a surge of these insects that are flying around him kind of like course down his hand, and they start like coursing over Gideon, and you see as they're like leaving a little like filmy saliva over him, but nothing seems to really happen other than he's a little sticky now.
At least take that health at least.
Well, you guys did just get a long rest, so you should be at full health.
Oh, I thought when they. Okay, never mind. I could have swore they rolled for something, but that was the Constitution. Never mind.
So they did roll something after they failed the Constitution save. It was not damage.
Gotcha.
How far away is Sunholm?
Sunhome from here is about an hour by walking.
They might not be able to make that.
Tin Street is also like where you are on Tin Street is close enough to about halfway, so like 30 minutes you could get on like one of the stations and charter, so you could cut it down to like 40 minutes to Sunhome if you wanted to spend a little cash to get them there. Or who knows, maybe you could hire some goblins to transfer them.
Roger tries to think back to the city that he once knew before, like a year ago. Tries to think of where possibly could there be a what's it called a doctor, like a list doctor. This could be nearby. Oh wait, he asks the two, like, where exactly are we right now? Do either of you have a map on you?
I don't think I have one on me.
I don't think I have one.
Is there a
Right now
goblin
we're
there?
about center city in the night market. I guess that doesn't really help you. Where are you looking to go?
Figure out where will be the closest place. As Algic takes out like a piece of paper and pencil and like tries to sketch out like, okay, this is Center City. Try to like think back in his memory of thing.
So you do have experience with a specific healer.
Okay.
The one from your backstory. Would you like to go to them? Because they are actually very close. They are like maybe a 10-minute walk from here, based on when you last spoke to them.
Algic has a heart palpitation and decides very, like, in his mind, doesn't say anything of the sort. Just like, no. Not again.
Yeah, so being guildless, that is the only healer you knew who readily treated guildless, and you were able to go to in the past. They function outside of Oligarch Square, but if you don't want to go to them, you won't be able to provide.
Algic looks back at the other two and like, okay. This is like a pen and paper. Draws out a little map. And like, here, as he hands it to Tavro, go here, and they might be able to help them. I cannot guarantee anything. I will not be going for you though.
I looked at Kai. What do you think?
I mean, do we know of any like healers that would be around that we trust?
See, that's
like
the thing.
in the guild.
That you trust is always hard. You could go to
Yeah.
Orzova, which is the guild hall for the Orzov. That is only about a 15-minute walk away as well. You know that they have lots of healers. The issue is they tend to be very expensive. Because it's Orzov. Now, you also have one of the people there who is Orzov. That might make it a bit more reasonable, but you do know that that is like one of the primary ways that the Orzov get people in debt with them. Prohibitively high healing expenses that they then like basically strong arm people into contracts instead of paying.
You know what? Yeah, I look and I go, We could always take him to his own guild. I'm sure they would have some kind of discount for him. If not, well,
And for him, I pick them both up again, and I ask him. I go to Kai to lead the way.
Sure
Right.
about that. If time isn't of the essence, he puts back the little map that he drew and puts it back in his pocket.
I mean, we can't be sure that it is, but it's not far.
Your people, as you believe is right.
Alright, so are you
So,
heading over
yeah.
to Orzova?
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm rushing with both of them over my shoulders.
Alright, so yeah, if you're rushing, you can get there in about 15 minutes.
Yes.
Like, it even for you, big cow, 2 people, especially one wearing, like, thick medium armor, is
Right.
not light. So it does hold you up a little bit, but you're able to kind of rush over to Orzova, the main Orzhov Guild Hall, and you just burst through the front doors pretty much directly into a church service. And then you see, as you kind of rush in, you like look up towards the first priest that isn't actively giving a sermon, and he just looks at you with wide eyes as you run over and drop the 2 bodies in front of him.
And I just like look him like dead in the eyes and be like, they inhaled spores. Help them.
He looks down at them and goes, "And what would you like me to do about that?"
Heal them.
That look like this is your guild mate or whatever. Please just do something. As I point toward Fox.
Do you know? And you see as he like looks down and sees Fox, and like the ornate robes that he wears over his armor, and he just goes, "Do you know what type of spores?"
What color were they?
Green and yellow.
Green and yellow. And I also tell them, every once in a while when they cough, someone came out.
Oh, so they're not dead yet.
No, not dead.
I
yet.
hope not.
In that case, it shouldn't be too expensive for you. And he goes, and you see as he
I just point to Fox and go for him.
For his own restoration.
And he just looks down and goes, "Alright then." And you see as he kind of like, he says, "I'll be right back." And he goes up to a font at the side, and he gets like a vial full of water. And you see as he like says something over it. And then he walks over and he like splashes some water over both of them and starts muttering something. And then he puts his hand on Fox first. And then Fox, after a few seconds, you feel like a burning in your chest and you wake up coughing. And you are okay. And you just see as another priest is like wearing Orzhov clothing is standing over you. And he goes, 800 gold for you. And then he points at Gideon, who is still lying next to you, and goes, "And you agree to pay the 1600 for her?"
One sec, what spell was that for her? To heal?
And he goes, "If you would like to protect her from the poison as well, you're welcome to."
What spell did you cast?
Protection from poison.
That do make sense.
And I mean, Fox, you are familiar that for outsiders, a spell cast in an emergency is 800 gold times the level of the spell.
Okay, I'm going to cast Lesser Restoration to end the poisoned effect on her.
And after a few seconds, Gideon, you feel as you start like coughing violently, and then you wake up with Fox and another priest kind of standing over you. I'm
going to turn to Gideon and say, "That's going to be a few hundred, I suppose."
And then you hear as the priest goes, "You still have your own payment. Don't forget."
Perhaps 400 gold, Gideon?
Where am I?
And you just like wake up coughing. You see two priests like standing over you. Tavro is like standing to the side, sweating and panting violently. And you just, like look around and like you're on like gilded white and black tile floors. You see arched ceilings above you, and the only thing you're really able to put together is you're in some sort of Orzhov place. It looks to be like some sort of church of the Orzhov, but like just coughing awake, you're still kind of getting your bearings.
Gideon, how much gold do you have?
27.
Fox is just gonna stop, stare, sit down, and just like have a moment.
Fox realizes that he's been hanging out with poor people, and his entire life is crumbling.
Doesn't
Gideon's
feel
in the
great to have your life saved and be immediately indebted, now does it?
Gideon's in the military. I'm not entirely sure what Fox expected.
Also, in fairness, Fox, this is your fault.
Do you accept some diamonds for Revivify as part of the payment? I just bought them. It's what I have on me.
And he just looks down at you and goes, "Fine." And he just hands out his hand, like holds out his hand.
Alright, I hand him the diamonds and then the rest of the money from my savings.
And he like collects it, counts it real fast, and goes, "I recommend you avoid torpors again."
I'm sorry, can somebody
Torpors.
explain to me what's
This
happening?
was in a letter.
And he goes, "Then I recommend you avoid letters that have torpor spores in them."
Fox, what is he talking about?
It appears I opened a assassin's weapon. And then I'm gonna look to the rest of the party. And unfortunately, the next time you die, you will not be getting a Revivify. Thank you for your service. Brother, what's the name?
Brother Terlov.
I thank you. And then I'm gonna stand up and say, well, back to the assassin's quarters, are we?
Why would we go back there?
There was a strong box.
Panting.
I mean, one thing to note, Fox, depends on how you open the letter. You might still have the other one on you if you want. I don't know if you pocketed this. You can tell me. Did you pocket the stone and the letter? Did you leave them?
I pocketed the stone and the lever. Yeah, I pocketed them both. I also would have wanted to bring the strong box, which is the main thing I would have wanted to go back for.
I mean, that's more of like a chest that sits at like the foot of a bed. It's not like a handhold lockbox. That is something where like even Tavro, like if it's full, it might be a few £100. If it's empty, it's probably at least like 40. It was like a solid wood
Well,
chest. So
I'm going to say I'm going to get a 10-foot pole. 15-foot pole.
29.5-foot pole.
okay, Grinch. Yeah, so now
Actually, wait.
We finally made our way to AD&D level where you use a 10-foot pole to check for traps everywhere.
So hear me out. We go outside, and then I'm gonna look to Justin and say, "Your beetles, perhaps they might come in handy."
What do you mean by that?
I'm gonna say, "We set up an area with the letter. We stay far away, but you use your beetles to open the letter."
Well, doesn't sound so bad. Sure. We could do that. As Aldrich uses Mage Hand to hold on to the letter, or like a cloud of insects grabs the letter.
Yeah, so you concentrate and like a bunch of these little flying crawl around you, like kind of like grab onto the letter and start carrying it, and they're just hovering next to you. Where would you like to do this?
Are we still inside the
So far, you're still just like in the entrance to the guild hall, pretty much.
Outside of the guild hall, perhaps away from any unfortunate bystanders.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a courtyard and gardens that you could
Are you
probably go to
bored?
and at least get 15 or
So,
so feet away from any passerbys. So you head outside of the guild hall into like the kind of entryway courtyard, and you just stand off to the side, and the crawl kind of carry this letter into the corner, lay it down, and then are they going to open it, Aldrich?
Yes.
And how far away are all of you standing?
Like 30 feet.
Yeah, 30 sounds about good.
All right. As this thing opens, for the most part, it looks like they just open the letter and like they kind of like pull out the leather, and then you see as all of the like crawl that were kind of like holding it and acting as this mage hand die, and like they just like collapse onto the ground around the letter. And Aldrich, I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw.
Give me 1 second, please. Wisdom saving throw coming up. Sorry. Wisdom. That's a ability check. Where's the saving throw itself? Where's the saving throw in here? Because I see like the word is this ability check. So. Oh, it gives me an option.
Yeah, if you
Ability check and
click on
saving
it,
throw.
it'll
Okay.
give you the option. That was a 17. And you just hear, like, it sounds like someone is screeching inside of your head for a few seconds, but you're able to kind of, like, shake it off. Right as the screeching voice was starting, like, it almost sounded like a banshee's wail. You couldn't really make out any words. Right at the end, it almost sounded like it was going to say something intelligible, but then the connection is cut off, and now, like, you're kind of just able to recollect yourself for a second, and the letter is now lying open on the ground about 20 feet away from you.
So Aldrich like grabbed his head for a little bit and just like, what the hell was that? And but then looks for the letter and just brushes that off. So as I look toward everyone else, like, so anyone gonna look at what was in that letter?
Is there anything in it?
Are you going over to check?
Want to use some bugs?
I'm not sure if that's the best idea, but we can see as he summons some more.
Yeah, so you cast Mage Hand again. You're not really sure what caused the other one to dissipate, but like you have the bugs swarm over again, and they're able to like now pull the letter outside of the envelope, and they're able to fly around with it seemingly harmlessly.
Okay.
All right. Let us read it.
As it bring the mage hand over the fox.
Yeah, so as it unfolds, what languages do you speak?
I speak Common, Celestial, Goblin.
It is in a language that you don't quite understand. It seems to be about 2 paragraphs, but you're not able to make out the words that are like scratched onto it. It almost looks like if someone took like Common and then just like jumbled it up, and like it uses the same character set as Common, which most different languages tend to use their own character set, but you don't recognize any of the words.
It's not in Minotaur, is it?
The bugs turn it towards you, and you also are not able to recognize the words on the letter.
I see what's
on
giant if it's the same script.
Sorry, both of you were talking at once. I couldn't quite get it.
Now no one's talking.
Pat,
Alright,
what did you say?
is Vidalcan the same script?
Vidalcan actually is the same script as Common.
Okay, so I would like to look at it.
But as you
Or the
look at it,
Vidalcan could.
as both you and Gideon look at it, neither actually. Gideon, what languages do you speak?
I mean,
Just
I'm a
in case.
Vidalcan, so I would hope I know Vidalcan.
Well, it's not Vidalcan, which is why I'm asking.
Oh, sorry. Let's see.
Your sheet just says Common and Vidalcan, so
Common
I'm
and
gonna
Vidalcan.
say that none of you actually recognize any of the wording on it.
Can I see if I understand Elvish, Undercommon, and the other one.
What are we reading again?
It's a letter.
Yeah, the letter
letter
addressed
that
to
you told me?
Myria. No,
Oh.
that was the letter addressed to Fox. This was the other letter on the same table,
I see.
which you are now being far more cautious about opening and reading. Yeah, Aldrich, as you kind of like bring it over to you, you are looking at it and you're able to see, and it takes you a second because you haven't read this in a while, but you do actually recognize the language. It is written in Undercommon. And you're able to translate it to the rest of the party, and it goes, Myria, you understand that your task is to kill Fox Machine of the Orzhov Guild. Casualties are not required, but not shunned either. It is unknown whether or not the contract will include anyone who dies fighting by his side. If they are sworn to him, a casualty may be useful in the end. If you are not able to kill him, return for reinforcements after the next full moon. if 2 months pass, you'll be returned to the Undercity for reassignment. And then that is the end of the first paragraph. And in the second paragraph it goes, Fox, if you have managed to kill Miria and read this letter, come to the Undercity. I think we might have a new deal in store if you actually are this strong. Signed, Zosdaxa of the Sisters of Stone.
Ooh.
But I look at towards Fox and I'm like, sounds like you're in this complicated situation, huh?
You could say we have a history. Do I? The letter I opened that was addressed to me, does it have any paper in it?
So that one was definitely dropped back at the safe house.
Okay. Well, I don't suppose we have anything else we're doing today.
It would be nice to not have to constantly worry about getting assassinated at any given moment.
Perhaps if we could just finish ensuring that this safe house is dealt with, I may have a method for locating our little friend.
I thought we didn't kill the assassin yet.
Correct, we didn't, which is why I have a method for locating them. So, thumbs up.
So
Fine by me.
we're going to the Undercity, or we're going to find Miria?
Maria.
Okay.
So you're heading back to the ambush
The
office?
safe house. Yes.
Alright, so you take... Now that you're not sprinting as hard as you can to get to a cleric to save them, it does take a bit closer to 30 minutes to make your way back. But you make your way back into Tin Street and back up into that corner office. And you do find the letter kind of just like lying on the ground. It's a little crumpled from where like you seized up and like your hand crumpled it. But the letter is lying on the ground. You had the stone in your pocket, and there is still the kind of like lockbox trunk sitting in the corner of the room.
Aldrich, could you be a friend here as I go back to the doorway? And mind getting the paper out for me real quick?
Algic looks if there's any remaining spores on the paper.
There are like the paper itself still has some spores on it. Like you can see the paper at this point. Like maybe it's just from being in the envelope with the spores for so long, but the paper is like pretty discolored yellow.
Personally, Fox, I don't think it'll be nice to even go near that paper.
Could they just unfold it and we look for here to see if it actually has any writing or if, well, it was just blank the whole time?
Do you think you could read from afar like that?
I just want to see if it has any writing.
Okay. So Algic goes along with Fox's plan.
Yeah, so you send off some more crawl to kind of like pick it up. And they shake it off and you see some spores going, but they're able to bring it close, like they're able to shake off enough spores where it's not really shedding any anymore. And they bring it close enough for you to get a good look. And you just see there is just one short phrase written in large letters on the paper, and it just says, "See you soon," and a little smiley face.
Oh, how cute! We should send a letter back. Does the Myria letter have an address on it?
No, it just had a name on it.
Oh. The lockbox. How big is this thing?
It is like 4 feet wide, 2 feet deep, and like 2 feet long.
Tavro,
Yes.
perhaps this is a job for you. I see a lockbox. It is locked. I see you. You have big axe.
I have spear.
You have big axe.
I have spear.
You have muscles. Could you
I do
try
have muscles.
opening this?
Okay. And I'll try and force it open with my big, strong, muscly cow arms.
Oh god.
Wait,
Well,
Tavro. Perhaps you should carefully.
Okay, so no smash, just open.
It is all dynamite.
Yeah, so how are you trying to open this?
It is locked, right? So that's an excellent question.
You haven't asked yet. How are you checking?
Is
if
it
it's
locked? Is it locked, or is it just like stuck shut?
How are you checking?
Oh, sorry. Look to see if there's a lock on the front or a space for a key.
It is a lock box, so it definitely can be locked, but you haven't really interacted with it yet, so you're not sure if it
Right.
is locked. But
I see. I understand. And I just look over to him like, all right, is this locked? To Fox, I mean.
It's a lockbox. You can handle it. Don't worry, I won't charge you 800 gold.
No, I refuse. You can open it.
Coward.
If it is in fact barred, then I can try, but you can open it first.
Aldrich?
Sure. As Aldrich sends over more insects.
Yeah, so you kind of probe with the insects, and you try and flip the latch on it, but it is giving resistance, so it does feel like there is some sort of lock mechanism in place.
As I look back to her, it's like, I think Tavro, you might be the one to do this. It is in fact locked.
I go over to it again. How do you think I should try to get this open if you want me to do it gingerly, Fox?
I am just saying, perhaps be a little careful. Check everything before just smashing.
I just want to, grip both sides, the top part that would open and the bottom part, and just try to pull and see if I can, get some part of it to break open, so that even if it's locked, I can get it open.
Okay, and before we do this, where is everybody standing?
Oh,
I'm outside the door.
I am standing where I am standing. With a wall between me and the box.
Kai?
I put in game. I am at the bottom of the stairs.
Standing guard, got it.
I am where I was already. With Tavro.
Are you sure?
Alright. Tavro, I'm gonna need a strength or athletics check to try and pry open the box. You're able to get like your fingernails just within the crevice, and you start pulling, and as you bend back just enough, like you feel the metal start to strain and split, and after a few seconds you're able to break open the lockbox and nothing happens.
I'd like to look inside.
You look inside, and then 40 darts come out and stab you in the face. No.
Yay!
So you look inside, and you see a few changes of clothes, a few like carefully packed vials, a few like small daggers, another note.
I'd like to look.
This one is unaddressed, and a bracelet.
Gotcha. I go get Fox and tell him that he can look through it.
Alright, I look at the note.
If there's anything good, I get a piece of it.
So you look at
You did not spend 800 gold just now.
We saved you.
You look at the note, and it's not addressed to anybody. It's in another envelope. But you can actually feel on the inside, and you felt notes packaged like this. Because this is how the Orzhov package their notes. Instead of like a paper note, on the inside you can feel is folded parchment. And like there's like a wax seal that is holding the envelope closed with a symbol stamped into it.
What's the symbol look like?
So the symbol looks like one second, gotta check my notes so I make sure I give you the right symbol. Yeah, so the symbol stamped into it looks like an eye. An eye with like a shining star in the middle of it.
Arrival! Alright, I'm gonna have to make a note of that. However, not opening it right now, then the bracelet, what does that look like?
So the bracelet looks like it's like a leather bracelet. It kind of looks like a studded leather bracelet, but it is studded with like these strange gold pieces, and all of the gold studs are like, you can see inlaid in them is the same eye with a star in it.
I propose we set these aside for now until we're able to correctly identify them. These daggers and clothing don't look anything too special, but these definitely mark themselves as some sort of clue, I suppose.
And I'm throwing in the Discord like what this looks like.
Oh god, she's in a K-pop band.
What about the vials that were in there?
So there are 4 neatly and tightly packed vials, 2 of which, when like if you lift them up and shake them a little bit, you see that it seems to be a clear liquid suspended with yellowish green spores.
Oh.
The third vial is a vial that looks like it has nothing in it. And the fourth vial is like pale blue and pale blue liquid, and you can see little specks of almost like an inky black substance like suspended in it, almost like a lava lamp.
Oh. Anybody want any of this?
What, the poison that we just spent thousands of coin just to heal people with? I personally don't want that anywhere near me.
Well, it's not just poison. There's some other stuff. Or I mean, it could also be poison, but
Properly sealed, it shouldn't raise any issues. I think only Clara and Aldrich are the ones that could make any use of this as well. In case it explodes upon opening, having that mage hand, or bug hand, I suppose, would make a fine way to neutralize that effect. Or perhaps even smash it against someone.
I mean, as he looks amongst the people there, it's like, well, for now, I guess I'll take it, but please wrap it up. But do you see any cloth we can wrap it in so it doesn't accidentally burst?
The clothing's in the lockbox.
Yeah, so they were like very neatly packed with like padded bags around each of the vials. So that
Okay.
I don't know the best way to describe it. It's almost like a leather water skin around the vial, so the top is exposed where you could uncork it even while it's in the thing, but it is heavily padded by these like leather sleeves or jackets around the vial itself.
Okay. So yeah, Aldrich takes one of the vials, and packs it away, and
Which vial are you taking?
oh, sorry. The poison.
So one of the two spores?
Yeah, one of the two spores.
Okay.
I'll take that vial full of blue stuff.
Alright, so you get the blue liquid with like suspended black ink.
Yes.
Would anybody else like to take anything?
I take the bracelet and the letter.
No, I don't need anything.
Alright.
I'm not there, so I'll take someone's word for it if they say there's something for me.
Alright. I know that it has been requested in the past that around 9:30 to 10 o'clock is when we start wrapping up. So I think this is also a good time to wrap up, as it puts us around right around 2 p.m. In game time. So that would be a good time for you guys to start heading up to meet with Clara for her interrogation next session.
Sounds
Congrats,
good.
guys. We managed to play a 2.5 hour session, starting and ending in the same room.
Wow.
Well, to be fair, this was mostly a theater of mind session.
I know, I'm just making a joke. It was still fine.
Can we do one more thing?
Yes.
No, good night.
Well, it depends on what that thing is.
Open the letter in the same way that other letters were opened.
Do you
Is this all I am to you? A letter opener?
joins the
Oh,
party,
Aldrich!
creates intricate backstory and joins party just to be a letter opener. That
What
is
is my
up to-
purpose?
You
that
open
is up
letters.
to all of you if you want to possibly spend like another few minutes to go over this last letter, or if you want to just let it go. For
I'm
next
fine
time.
with the letter.
Yeah.
All right. So, you're doing the same thing of Aldrich.
30 feet away.
Okay. It's kind of hard
Where
to be
are
30
you
feet away in like this small room.
Yeah,
We go
I'm just.
outside and like do it.
Yeah, you
Some
could step
secluded
out,
area.
like you could step outside of the office and then like yeah, there's goblins going back and forth, but you can find like a 30-foot spot where you can just kind of like clear out. It's just that room is a tiny room. It's hard to be 30 feet
Yeah.
away from something in like a 15-foot room. Yeah, so you head out kind of into the center of the where the night market is, but right now like there's some goblins going around the outskirts moving stuff, but even now it seems like right now might be a lunch break or something. It's fairly quiet around here. So you're able to stand about 30 feet away from the insect swarm that is holding up the letter. And so, Aldrich, are you having them break this like wax seal to open the letter?
Yes.
While you do that, I need you to give me a charisma saving throw.
Ooh, but oh shoot, nice.
You feel almost you felt this only very recently since you've woken up from the experiments, but you feel something kind of like tugging on the edge of your psyche as if trying to make like a telepathic connection with you, but after a few seconds it fizzles and fades away, and the letter opens up, and like dropping away the envelope, you see a folded up piece of parchment with writing on it.
As Aldrich goes up and that it didn't seem like anything exploded or anything, so he goes up and picks up the parchment.
Yeah, so you take it, and can you give me either a nature or survival check as you take this? You like take the parchment, and as you feel it in your skin, it takes you a second to realize, but it's not quite like a leathery parchment. You realize that this is made out of human skin.
Oh, good God! As he drops it.
And you see as the entire thing is covered in that same eye symbol, as well as a few other symbols, and writing in a language that you don't recognize. Well, actually, let me check your thing again, but I'm pretty sure you don't recognize. Yeah, you do not recognize this language. So the rest of you kind of just see as Aldrich goes up, takes the letter from his bugs, and then like immediately just like drops it and steps back for a second, and you see as he does so, it unfolds, and it also looks to be much larger than you thought could fit in that. It's like it's nearly like a 7-foot long scroll almost.
Oh.
I approach and look at it.
So you're able to like see the similar things. It's like this leathery parchment covered in these strange symbols. And actually, you can give a religion check. you're not familiar with what the you've studied under the Orzhov, you've studied religion, and you're meant to be like a bastion of religion within society, but your focus has always been a bit more on the contracts and financial side of things. You don't recognize the symbols, but you do recognize a little bit, even though you don't know the language that it's written in. You do recognize something about the language. Two things. One, just looking at how it's laid out, this seems to be in some sort of like a religious prose. You can see like the separations of phrases as if in a religious text. And you also notice that the character set is not exactly the same, but very similar to Celestial.
Okay.
And are you like trying to look into it more, or are you just like glancing it over?
Yeah, I'll look into it more.
Give me a investigation check.
Is this the part where he tries to make a Cthulhu Mythos roll?
Wrong game. Yeah. You're not able to figure it out now, but you're pretty sure that like with the similar enough character set and enough time studying it, you could probably make sense of at least some of what's written there. But you really don't have any idea what's on it other than it seems to be in the layout of a religious text, and it's some celestial adjacent character set.
I'm going to wrap it up, put this into the letter, turn to the others and say, perhaps it's best we forget about that one, as I stuff it into my pocket.
No, no, no. Absolutely not. You do not get to keep secrets from us anymore if they're going to keep getting us killed.
Tell me, what secret have I kept from you that was about to get us killed?
How about the assassin that attacked you?
You were quite clearly informed of the assassin.
Not before you made the action causing the assassination attempt.
Tell me, did I not tell you I was going away?
Yeah, to do shady shit.
Not shady shit. It's such a crass phrase. I was under the assumption I was dealing with a member of my guild. You cannot blame me for being surprised.
Yeah, no, before that. When you made the contract. You hid that from us. And because of it, we have to all watch our backs. You don't get to keep secrets anymore if they affect us.
You blame me for not
Yes.
selling my soul.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that that was, something you were opposed to. You're certainly not opposed to selling ours.
When have I sold your soul? You were offered that medical care by another member of my guild, and then it was issued a bill to you. That was not an action on our part.
Still, forgive me if I do not trust you in the slightest anymore.
I do not understand the text on this parchment, and I will need time to understand it. But we have more pressing issues right now. That is what I meant to say.
I don't believe we do.
Well, perhaps chasing down the assassin.
and you think this isn't related to the assassin. A script unknown to you found in the assassin's room.
I think it may be easier to test other ideas first before taking the time to figure this out. The assassin is a lycanthrope, and, well, I do not want to attempt to engage in another attack in the dead of night.
Then perhaps someone else holds on to the note. We'll agree to help you track it down.
As you say that, I'm just gonna give a scoff and say, tell me, what shady deals have you been doing with that spirit dragon that's been hanging around you?
Completely unrelated, and you know that's a straw man argument to distract from your own doings, which are affecting all of us now.
Tell me, how do I have a guarantee it has not been affecting us?
How about your own debt to your own guild?
I paid that off.
You still had to pay it. It affected you.
Yes, and? I am resolving the issues I have done. And now you are proclaiming that you cannot trust me for simply carrying a piece of parchment.
Correct. Why don't we give it to our mutual friend who has been integral in helping you carry it? And inspect it.
This is awkward. Oh, hello?
Yep.
Pat, can you do me a favor? Can you repeat the last thing you just said?
I just said, why don't you give the note to our friend who was integral in helping you open it in the first place?
Okay, that's what I thought. I was just like, I thought Connor was going to say something, but I'm like, oh, maybe it was on me to say something, because I was confused for a second. Okay. Oh, this is awkward. Connor?
It is a scroll. I see no reason why you have such distrust in me handling it.
Again, an attempt on your and all of our lives is reason enough. This is related to that. It is in your best interest to let us help you with it.
Personally, if I had my 2 cents, I really don't want to touch that scroll that is made out of human flesh.
It's what now?
It's when I picked it up, I realized it was made out of human flesh. That's why I had dropped it so suddenly.
Can I empty out my scroll case and put it in there?
What, buddy?
Unless Kai's gonna stop you. You're physically capable.
I want to do that and then say, now you don't have to handle it.
If the scroll comes back to bite you, mark my words, you will receive no assistance from me.
Oh, I was saying that to Aldrich.
Yeah, so
We're all
I
around.
was like, yeah,
No, like handing the scroll case.
Oh, you're handing me the scroll case?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. As he takes it and just puts it in his bag, and he's just like, ugh. The guy that's surrounded by insects is grossed out by this.
The guy that's sometimes surrounded by dead bodies is grossed out by your bugs.
Touche. And he puts it away. And I think that's where we're ending because it's officially 10:03.
Yeah, I think that's a good place
Yeah.
to end it.
Also, I forgot I was muted, but I went, why don't you give it to me? I don't have human skin.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Because
You're
we're
muted.
racist. God.
You could also give it to Gideon. He's got blue skin.
Yeah.
That's true.
Again, my point.
Oh, also, a question, like, okay, so Gideon's Vidalkin, Fox is in a suit of armor, I cannot see that. I'm just going off of what I can see visually, so I'm just trying to think of what my character can see. Tavo's big man, and Kai looks human.
I am human.